Discuss the factors responsible for the rise and consolidation of feudalism in England. Marks 10-12. Answer. Feudalism in England, which was established by William the Conqueror, led to land becoming the property of the king and made his dominance absolute. William's Norman conquest was a major landmark event in this respect. The pressures of military control over a people ready to challenge the authority required immense tact and diplomatic acumen. William knew that he did not have adequate knowledge about local habits and customs. Moreover, he could fathom very well that the first priority was settlement and control over the people who had offered resistance under the English king. But the matter of managing the resources of his new dominion and both his own men and the local resistances proved to be engaging tasks that continued for quite some time. One of the ways in which William sought to dissipate the potential rivalries within his own fold was the adoption of the feudal structure. The feudal structure enabled William to negotiate strategic deals with his compatriots through a resource, i.e., land, a resource that pacified the competitors and gave him the power to distribute. So, initially, the nature of feudalism in England was based on the power equations that existed between the nobles and their retainers. The feudal pyramid that was thus formed had the monarch at the top, with each layer imposing the presence it felt from above. Initially, the noble's feudal relation with the king was essentially based on military function. Since feudalism was a thriving social and political apparatus in Normandy, the nobles that came with William were conversant with the feudal codes and systematic requirements. So, they were not novices who tried out a new experiment in governance. However, there was a significant difference between the systems functioning in other European countries and England. When William decided to adopt the feudal structure for his English subjects, he devised it as a central mechanism where more and more administrative power was vested in the higher echelons of the political pyramid. In European practice, there was comparatively a greater degree of decentralization. William drew on the existing English social structure, which suited his scheme very well. The English bishops and abbots, most of who held considerable landed property, were assigned fixed knight service allowance for their assets. This goes to show that although a bishop was not part of the real politic of the country, the system's pervasive pressure came to implicate him also. In another development, that suggested the fusion of the Carolingian process and the English one. William retained the sheriff's office and service to monitor and administer his diktat, even though he was an essentially English functionary. William and his lineage, thus, showed great political acumen which they combined with a quickly assimilated knowledge of local conditions. Such a combined procedure contributed to the emergence of English version of feudalism. Immediately following William, at least till the 15th century, the feudal structure consolidated in England. The monarchical system in these countries, after the Norman conquest, was based on the adoption of feudalism. An important aspect of the feudal structure of a society in England, after 1066, relates to the functionality of the structure, its political and the strategic necessity, and the immediate need of William to quell any potential resistance that could have led to social fragmentation. It is important to recognize that the feudal stratification was initially both a strategic and economic requirement. It was a payoff for services rendered and handing out of administrative tokens. Technically, therefore, the king was recognized as the arbiter and the controller of assets, and the owners of these assets were eventually answerable to the king. By the time of Henry I, the feudal structure was fully in place and was acquiring a professionalism that was unprecedented in England. Finished. Please subscribe to the channel for more updates of ready-made notes on English literature. Also, please share this channel to any student pursuing a degree in English literature.